Darry, it's the middle or beginning to middle of August 2020. We're here in the cave, and hopefully it's the end of a rather long-running saga, which, if you remember, started with the fact that due to emergency stop, I had a small collision, and this involved the back wheel of my bicycle, which has been pointed out by my assistant, who is actually more keen on the cycling bag, the wheel bag. So the back part of my Shimano C40 was damaged in a very low speed collision, but nevertheless it was damaged enough to make it walked, and this happened in the coronavirus period where no shops were opened. So eventually I managed to get through to the shop when they reopened, but they claimed that all the mechanics, or most of the mechanics, were unavailable. So this started in about March, and as a consequence I've been unable to ride this bike since March. We're now in, August. So what's happened? Well, eventually, after the shop saying, this is Echelon Cycles in Pershore, saying that I just had to keep waiting before I could even book it in, they gave me a date for the booking, and that was just about a week ago. So it's come back from Echelon Cycles in Pershore, a very modest price. I was happy to pay, let's say 5 times as more as they charged me if they would have perfectly trimmed the wheel. Anyway, they said they did as best they can. And let's see, I've just put the wheel back on. It's not fully pumped, but what we're looking at is the clearance between the brake here and the rim. So this is a test. I haven't actually even run it at all before. See if I can get it precisely focused. Okay, wheels on. Let's go. Right, can you see that? So it's almost perfect. If we look at the braking edge, there's a little jump there, jump. But basically that's almost perfect and certainly good enough to ride on. Now before, what had happened is that the braking surface was oscillating between the brake pads, and the only way to fix that is to open this dimension up, so the distance between the brake and the rim would be larger. Or the second possibility is, in the old days you could relax this nut here and have the brake kind of float around, but that was in the days of when you had kind of centre pull brakes where the whole brake mechanism could kind of float around. So on the classic Weinmann centre pull brakes, which is where a wire would come out here and it would pull both levers together equally, you could do that. But when you are using side pull brakes, in my opinion, you have to have the brake firmly connected to the frame, and then you have to manipulate the brake so that when the wire is pulled, both levers go into the braking surface equally. Because what you want is for them to touch the brake pads and not push the wheel one way or the other. And from what we can see, the wheel is now almost dead true. So thanks Echelon, you've done a great job. It did take quite a while for it to happen, but now my premium bike is on the road, and Mr. Backup Bike is going to be retired. So sorry Backup Bike, you're going to be retired, and Primary Bike, we're back in action. Fantastic. So when I'm fit again, which is not right at the moment, we're going to be cycling. Thanks very much for watching, Derry.